Hello, this is Anthony O'Sullivan, Partner and Director at Whiteshield. We're here for the launch of the 2023 Global Labor Resilience Index, and I have the pleasure to be with Samar Atallah, Associate Dean for Graduate Studies at Research, Associate Professor of Economics at the School of Business at the American University in Cairo. Hello, Samar.
Hello, Anthony. Good to be with you.
Very good to be with you. And I have a few questions for you on the 2023 edition of the Global Labor Resilience Index. The first one being, what for you are the key messages coming out of this year's report?
Thank you, Anthony. I think this report comes in a timely period in the global economy, just post the pandemic. And in my view, it underlines a very important correlation between two things, between the resilience in the labor market and the resilience of the economies to adapt and transform external shocks that comes our way. This is, in my view, one of the very important things that should be insightful to policymakers, that to ensure a resilient labor market is key to recovery. And I think the other key message that the report comes out into is to underline the uneven recovery between high-income countries and low-income countries. Very much of the best performers in the Global Resilience Index are high-income countries, where are the ones that are regressing are actually low-income countries. So this uneven recovery is very important to underline, that it increases the gap in the recovery between the global north and the global south.
One of the highlights of the report, or one of the elements of the report, which is fundamental, is the framework which distinguishes between structural components, which are the foundations of the economy, and cyclical components, which are shorter-term areas which can be influenced by policy. Perhaps could you comment on this dual framework and maybe give a couple of examples of policies that have been implemented within the cyclical dimension of the pillar?
Well, one of the things that I find fascinating in the GLRI is that the way it's structured in a way that reflects structural pillars and cyclical pillars. The structural pillars are more reflective of the underlying economy, its macroeconomic stability, its demographics, and the likes, whereas the cyclical component reflects the adaptive and the transformative capabilities and the institutional capabilities of the country, it puts for us a pathway for policy to recommend things to address both elements of labor resilience. I think the report includes a lot of examples, but the ones that I would like to, that I personally find interesting and I would like to bring to this conversation are the examples of Denmark and Germany, particularly related to the demographics of the labor market. So we find in Denmark, their new policy reforms in 2022 have increased the incentive for the seniors to engage more in the labor market, to continue working in the labor market, and this has implications on the structural component of the labor market resilience. Whereas when we see at the example of Germany, I find that their labor policy regarding migration, in order to reduce the gap times for work permits and to introduce more of new skills into the labor market, addresses more of the elements of the cyclical component of the labor market resilience.
Samar, one of the things that was highlighted in the report, and you mentioned it as a key message, is the two-speed recovery that we see globally, especially between more advanced industrial economies and developing economies for labor market resilience. Would you have a few thoughts of actually what could be done to close this gap between the two types of economies?
Thank you, Anthony. This is a very important question. I think there's a lot to be done in closing this gap, and I think these are one of the key messages that the report kind of puts forward to policymakers on the global scene. I think this global divide can only be closed with international cooperation between developed countries and developing countries. I think particularly things related to the future work can only be addressed with international cooperation and support from the rich countries to the poor countries. The report underlines that during the pandemic, the digital transformation played a lot of important role into changing the nature of the labor market and how it changes the habits and perception and expectations in the labor market. But it also highlights the need to transform this digital transformation into opportunity for the poor countries. And this can only be done through international cooperation and support by the developed countries. But also another important thing that is also highlighted in the report is the green transition. And this is where I believe there is an opportunity for international cooperation between developed countries and developing countries, especially in terms of assessing, in terms of gathering information about climate change mitigation and so on. And these are the two issues that, in my view, are key to the future of work: the digital transformation and the green transition. And I think there is a great room of opportunities and space for collaboration between the global communities in order to ensure that this global divide is narrowed down in the future.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sama, for these insightful contributions to the GLRI 2023. And once again, have a great day.
Thank you, Anthony, for your time.